Hi, I'm Tricia from Club Scrap, and this is the Orchard Greetings to Go collection. You'll make 4 each of 3 different beautiful and unique card styles when you get this beautiful collection. So I'm here to show you how to assemble some of these cards today and to introduce you to my efficient card making process. Let's grab our trimmers and our kit and we'll get started. The first thing you'll see when you unpack your kit is that it comes with a whole bunch of stuff. First of all, notice the 3 different sizes of envelopes for each of 3 different sizes, because nothing drives me crazier than making beautiful cards and not finding the right envelope to send it in. So we provide that for you right in your kit. You'll set those aside. Then you'll see some gorgeous ribbons and fibers. Set those aside. We have some beautiful bronze colored tree charms. They look sort of like apple trees. And we won't worry about any of those right now. What we're going to work on at this point is the sheet of cut-aparts. There actually are 4 sheets of printed cut-aparts in your set, and we'll need to trim those pieces of artwork into individual elements for each card, because with Greetings to Go, no stamping is required. We provide the artwork for you, which is really attractive to a lot of people. I'm also using my unique accordion pocket file. I usually use this when I'm making 8 double-page spreads at one time, but today I'm going to use 3 of the pockets to help me plan for each of the 3 different card styles. So set A, set B, set C. Now this pocket file, you can make one of these yourself with my help, and I've got a video tutorial for you, but the pocket comes with a lip on the front end that you just support with the top of your trimmer base. So you just slide that right underneath the base of your trimmer and it stays up so you can file in it as you trim. Now, if you have the kit, the Greetings to Go kit, you also have access to the instructions. And you'll notice there's a little map of every single piece of artwork in the set, and each piece of artwork is marked on the map which set that art belongs to. And I only started doing this recently, so if you pick up an older collection, you may not find that to be the case. So I'm going to start out with this piece of artwork. There it is in real life, and I will look at these light gray registration marks on the print so that I can see exactly where I should be trimming. So there isn't really a number. I mean, I'm cutting vertically here at 5.5 inches, but you'll want to fine tune that based on where that mark is on your trimmer. Rule of thumb here is to rotate so that the smallest pieces are on your right, and we'll let everything just kind of fall to the right of the trimmer blade. And I'll just keep cutting until I can't anymore, and I don't need to. Okay, so this large pumpkin is in set A. So I'm going to use the first pocket for set A. Same for the apple, set A. Thinking of you, set A. Have a really sweet day, guess what, set A. And then we have these 2 little rows of peaches that are just darling. They're very narrow though, so I'm going to trim them a little lower where I can see those registration marks. And these are designer's choice. They don't have an official home, so I'll set them aside. Next, I'll take this long strip and I'll place it in the trimmer with the empty square on the right, and just go on down the line, trimming the individual pieces of artwork. You've created 4 pieces of artwork that are square. All 4 of them go into the second set, or B, or the second pocket. Again, this guy is an orphan. This too doesn't really have a specific home, but we probably will use it. In fact, I know we use it, but we will deal with it later. Okay, next piece of artwork. I will move on to this guy on the right that matches this piece of artwork. And after studying it, I see that I will have to trim first horizontally, and you'll notice it's kind of a strange thing. There are 2 side-by-side, you probably can't see them very well, but 2 registration marks that are side-by-side here. And I'm going to cut both of them because this is what we call a bleed. So the second cut there is necessary. There we go. Now separate this into individual elements, working from the narrowest strips falling off the edge of the blade first. Okay, these 2 matching larger pieces go in the third pocket, or set C, And same for the 2 narrow strips. Thank you very much, and today I thought of you and smiled. 3rd pocket. And then I have one more piece here that needs to be trimmed. Okay, I'll do that. Hope you're back to your old sweet self again soon. All of this remains as one piece in the 2nd pocket. And then we have these 2 little sentiments. Both of these go into the pocket for C, or the 3rd pocket, 3rd set of cards. All right, moving along to the 3rd sheet. This really doesn't take too long if you're just moving along with it. I'm trimming horizontally at first. And then I'm rotating. And just be careful here. There are fewer cuts than it seems like you should have to have. So don't worry about them, just follow along. So this guy, B, B, and also set B. So I'm putting that in my 2nd pocket. And then this last piece, lots of just quick cuts here. You can see how great my trimmer works. Okay, all of these strips go in B with the exception of the thanks. So let's put the thanks a bushel and a peck in the 3rd pocket, or C, and then the B 2nd pockets. We'll set this aside. We actually do use it. This, my friends, is a scrap, and we're on to the 4th and final sheet. This is going to require a bunch of vertical cuts. I will start with the narrowest pieces on the right and go right on down the line. A portion of this is used, but for now we'll set it aside, and we'll take the happy anniversary on the right here and cut this into sections. Okay. A, and A, all of them. A, 1st pocket. Next. You're the best. Not sure I put that guy. I'll just set him aside. Then we have these 2 last pieces, the pair, A. Next strip. Both of these pairs, the one with the words and one with the image, A. Have a sweet special day, C. Finally, this last narrow strip here, and then we are done with this phase. Both of them go into A. All right, next we're going to prep our card bases. What I'd like to do first is sort out all the remaining cards and panels so I don't make any errors along the way by confusing a different size with something. So if you have your trusty ruler handy and your cards and your instructions, of course, that are included with your package, then you're sure to get off to a good start. So I'm going to start out with set A being these yellow tent cards, and I know that I need these larger yellow panels, and then there are these 6x6 squares. Now that looks awfully weird, but those are the 2, actually there are 3 pieces. There's another panel needed. Yes, yellow. So these larger yellow panels, the largest card panels, and the 6x6 squares, there will be 4 of them. Don't confuse that with the smaller brown square. So that's everything you need for set A. I'll just put it in the pocket. Okay, set B is going to be the red cards with these orange panels. And again, the panels seem way too large for the cards, and that's because they are. And I'll file those with pocket B. And then for C, oh, actually the square brown piece also goes with B. And then for C, all we have left are the green and the yellow. Okay, so those are going to be good to go. Now what's left is a combination of scoring and trimming to prepare. So for set A, the first thing I need to do is actually trim these brown squares to make the panels for the cards. Now sometimes that's how I order this, how I arrange to have this shipped, is rather than have us collate 4 larger and 4 smaller brown panels, we send them to you as one piece and just have you trim it. And it keeps things more accurate, and and saves a little bit of time for everyone. So this piece goes in to your trimmer, and we'll cut it at 4 1/4. And since the piece is square, it doesn't really matter which direction. I'll repeat that for the other pair here. So 4 1/4. Okay, so now I have panels for my cards. I'm going to refile this back into 1 and 2. For set B, we are going to trim the square brown panel at 2 3/4. Then stack up both of those and cut them at 2 3/4 again horizontally to make us a total of 4 squares. Then the orange panels will be trimmed horizontally at 4 inches. So I'll do them both at the same time. Makes one large, or a large and a narrower one. Same for the second one. 4 inches. Okay. Now we have to do some scoring. We did all our trimming prep. I'll set this trimmer aside, and I always am careful when I remove my trimmer from my folder that I don't drop everything in the file. So I pick up the file first. Okay, set A, these yellow 10 cards are scored horizontally at 2 1/4 and 4 1/2. Repeat that for the remaining 3 card bases. Each red panel from set B is scored horizontally at 1 3/8. Now I'm lucky enough to be using a score pal that has eighths. And 4 1/4. If you don't, you can use your ruler and a bone folder. But I do recommend picking up the 3/8 one. Saves a lot of time. Repeat for the remaining panels. And file. Finally, for set C, we'll score horizontally at 5. Okay, that's all the prep. Let's get to assembly. I can take everything out of pocket A, or the first pocket. And sometimes what I'll do is just simply pair everything up so that I have everything I need for each card. You can do it that way if you like. Each one will receive kind of one of everything as far as the panels go. Just deal them out. There, everything's distributed. All that's left to do is just assemble one of them. Let's see, maybe I'll do this one here, and I'll set these other 3 aside. Because once I do one, you'll get the idea. Okay, we'll need some ribbon, and we're going to adorn the front of this panel with this adorable gingham ribbon. So what I do when I'm adding ribbon to a panel like this is I don't need to go all the way around, so I'll just cut enough to go across the piece, bring it around to the back and tape it. This just makes my ribbon go a little further, but we usually give you more than an ample amount. And then if I want to add a bow to the ribbon, just swing that around and trim. Okay, that's pretty cute. This piece will then be adhered to the brown panel, which you can see is a perfect fit. So we save you a lot of time and paper by trimming this ahead of the game for you. Okay. Now this other piece, I'm going to use a mini stapler to add a small little folded piece to the upper right corner. I watched a video today, a tutorial to learn how to make a card, and it took 20 minutes to make one card. And so our goal here is to help save you a little bit of time so that you can make a lot of cards in just 20 minutes. Like maybe a dozen, but maybe a little more than 20 minutes. Nest this onto the yellow. Now this is where you have to be really careful. Here we have a card base, and even though I've scored it, I never really trust it to be perfect. So when I fold my card in half for the first time, I always make sure I line up the corners perfectly before I make my final crease. That way I can fine-tune that fold. Okay. Now there's another score line here in the center, and I'm just going to fold inward on it. So it kind of does this, and that's what creates the tent. Here's where I screwed it up myself, so I'm just going to warn you. You only place adhesive on the lower portion of that scored area, meaning the portion closest to the outside edge of the card flap. And then all you're going to do is center this right on top of the card base. I mean, it should be the exact same size. Okay, then open. Apply adhesive to this long strip. Drop it in place on the front, or on the inside of the card on the bottom portion. So when you open the tent card, it bends on the hinge, and then the front flap rests right on the edge of the brown panel on the inside. Completely adorable. I love it. So cute. So of course you will continue to work and making those remaining cards. And shall I show you the finished ones? Here's the pumpkin. Thinking of you, I just used my stapler to add some of that really cute ribbon, and I didn't want to do a wrap around because it would add a little bit of unnecessary bulk. Here once again I stapled the jute rope or cord and glued on a tree here, tree charm. Sweet. Here's the one we made together, and then this is a second one where I just stapled the fiber on the left edge, and then of course you make such a great pair, and the happy anniversary can go inside of that one. Okay, on to set B. We'll start by taking everything out of the pocket. A lot of stuff in there. And we can deal out our pieces. Okay, I have everything distributed here. I'll collect 3 of the 4, set those aside. And here will be the card we'll make. Once again, it's the cute little cherries. I think I love them. Come in with some gingham ribbon. We'll just get this done right out of the gates here. And this, I did do a full wraparound. Don't bother taping it around the back because you won't save anything by the extra step. It's only for longer things, like layouts, that I do that taping trick on the back. All right, scissors to cut my little tails at an angle here. Nice. There's my cherry. And you will notice that we have the 4 squares of artwork that nest perfectly, of course, onto our brown mats. Next, we have 2 art panels and 2 orange panels. And if everything went according to my plan and Jacqueline's plan, who helped design these beauties, they'll fit and nest right onto the orange. So center that. This is kind of sweet. It says sometimes life is the pits on the front, and then hope things turn around for you soon. Ain't that the truth? Sometimes it really is. Okay, I'm folding this red in half. Okay, and then there's this other little fold here, and I'm going to just fold back. So on the yellow card, we folded the other direction. On the red one, we fold back. And it creates this cute little, like almost like a pull tab. Again, if things went to plan, that fits on the left edge of that card front here, where the first half of the greeting will be placed. Sometimes life is the pits. Then open the card all the way. Nest this guy on the inside flap. All right, and then you have this. Now, don't be like me and put adhesive on the outside edges, because if you do, you'll have a cute little postcard. One-dimensional, okay? Make sure you only apply adhesive down the center of this panel. And we have a plan, so it just kind of goes kind of in the upper area of this card, okay? Isn't that sweet? I really like this card structure. And remember, as a member of Greetings to Go, you get these instructions. If you have a stash of paper at home, anyone, you can take the same dimensions that we use, because they're all listed right in the instructions, and then recreate these card structures from paper in your stash. Okay, let's take a look at the remaining cards from that set. Remember I told you we were going to use that piece. So I think I ended up using just a piece of this to add interest to the vertical strip on the center of this card. Here's the happy birthday. So it's kind of the same thing, except for here I had room on the left edge to add ribbon. Same for the other card as well. Very nice. Here's one more ribbon, ribbon panel on the left, and then when you open it, your peach is on the right edge. Here's the one we made together. Okay, on to set C. We'll take everything out of the folder, and let's deal out those pieces. And then the inner greetings. And on the instructions, it will always tell you, very elegant small print near the card sample, what greeting went on the inside of the card, just so you don't lose track of it. And, you know, can you be flexible with that? Well, of course you can. Don't worry about it. We'll make, again, a very simple card. We'll use this one, and I'll show you one last little trick before we go. So we'll fold in half on the score line. Nice and easy on this one. So I'll nest the peaches artwork onto the corresponding yellow mat. And then I will attach this to the card base. I mean, could it get any easier than this? And before I adhere this, I just want to share my awesome little ruler tip with you. Since I always tend to glue things crooked, use the grid ruler that we have here at Club Scrap. It comes in a lot of different sizes. This is the 3x14. So just align one of the straight edges on the ruler with the bottom edge of the card. With the adhesive on the back of my piece, I can then just lay it down onto the card base, and I know it's level. And this ruler works great for centering things as well. Now what I did with this cord, I want to show you how this came on to the card, is just trim. I was so conscious of, is it mailable with just one stamp? How can I keep it add something dimensional without adding enough dimension that I have to add postage? And enter my handy needle tip applicator filled with Club Scrap's fantastic book binding glue. All I did was ran the glue along the edge of the panel with the needle tip applicator, and then take the piece and just place it on there and hold it for just a second. And since it's such a small amount of glue, it dries so quickly. And it's there to stay. I mean, it really works well. And plus, you didn't have to tie a bow or add a lot of bulk by going all the way around to tie onto something. Just glue it in place, and the bookbinding glue sort of seals it and holds it right where you want it to be. And then, of course, add your greetings to the inside. We'll take a look at the finished cards. On this one here, I took the strip of the checkered border, trimmed off the ivory edge, cut it in half, and then again used the needle tip applicator and bookbinding glue to adhere the checked borders to the card base, as well as a strip of the jute cord above and below the border strip. Here's the one that we just did, except for it's on the top, whatever. On these final pieces, I used a punch, a larger circle punch, or it wasn't really a punch, it was a die, but whatever you have on hand to create a shape, if you like, out of that element to back the orchard tree, and adhered that tree to the circle with bookbinding glue. I love it for adding my metal embellishments. Same thing again with each card where I added the strip of the jute cord for a nice finishing touch. And then don't forget, we always provide the inside greetings for these cards as well. And then you can happily insert them into the coordinating envelope and mail them to those you love. Greetings to Go card kits that have been pre-assembled make great gifts as well, so be sure you either subscribe or at the very least pick up this gorgeous Orchard Greetings to Go collection from Club Scrap.